You hear that, Kraken? You got competition.
All right. I just pinned him, so he's ready.
Do you mind if I call you the Crack?
That's fine.
So we have here with us Jesse Powell. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
First of all, thank you for calling in. This is very cool to be talking to
absolutely.
you. So you are are you the founder and CEO of Kraken Exchange?
I am. Yep.
Nice.
10 years.
10 years
in the crypto space.
Wow.
This is quite a big company now. It's like one of the really big ones, right? I mean, tell me about your company a little bit.
Yeah, so we're about 10 years old, 1,500 people trading 50 plus coins. We're one of the top exchanges in the world. Number one in Europe, number two in the US, probably number three globally. We've been around a long time. Got a lot of people. I don't know. It's been a very long road over the last 10 years, and it's kind of interesting that NFTs are now all of a sudden a big thing. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And it's cool to see that you guys are getting into it. I'm really looking forward to the Frenemies edition.
Oh, yes. That was your idea.
I saw Trisha's cool with it. So
yeah, Trish. Well, once she found out she can make money, then she's cool with it.
I think you guys got to work on the tokenomics a bit, though. And, the pumpamentals of your existing offering is pretty good. But, not many people can afford like $1,000 or $2,000 for an NFT. So I think if you, in the next edition, do like the Frenemies edition, do like, make them like $10 each, do like 5,000 at $10 each or something instead of like, 5 at 1,000 at 2,000.
To be totally frank, our goal wasn't necessarily it was more of an experiment to see like, is anyone actually going to buy this stuff?
Right.
Yeah, I had been pushing for mine to be priced low, and you pretty much completely overruled me and said, no, we're doing them at one.
Yeah, but aren't you happy now? You made $10,000.
I fully admit I was wrong on that. I didn't think anybody was going to buy any of mine, but they sold out. So there you go.
But it's exclusive. I mean, you can still do two versions, right? You can have like the foil animated version, and then you can have like the normal.
Oh, right, just like a trading card.
Tell me, why did you make Kraken Exchange? You one of these guys that had this like premonition of like, this is going to be huge, I'm going all in? I've heard about people like you.
Pre-crypto, from 2001 to 2011, I had a company selling virtual items and currencies for online games, like World of Warcraft Gold, Diablo Swords, RuneScape, MapleStory. We did all of these games. So I was already kind of aware of this virtual currency world and people using like their World of Warcraft Gold, like their bank account, and kids at school, at the cafeteria, trading a brownie for like 5 World of Warcraft Gold and stuff like that. And, it got me thinking that there's this whole class of people that just don't have access to the regulated financial system, like a bank account. When people think of like the unbanked, they're usually thinking of like people in rural India or Africa, but really it's like everyone under the age of 18 in the United States is unbanked. And, just lots of people all over the world, for whatever reason, don't have access to the banking system. And we're increasingly becoming digital, and more things that you want to buy are digital. And if you don't have like a credit card, like what do you do? And, kids were using World of Warcraft Gold, and Bitcoin seems like an evolution of that, something that's not, connected to like Blizzard as a video game developer who could just ban your account at any time. Bitcoin is something that anyone can create a wallet for, like without anyone's permission. You go directly peer-to-peer. So it solves all of these problems for financial services access in the world, and things getting in the way of people sending payments to each other. So it also just seemed like a great store of value in that, we know the dollar's inflating. Obviously, the government's printing trillions of dollars, like it's nothing, and there's probably trillions more to come. So it's clearly not a store of value. Like it's not a place to actually like save your money, because it's just losing value over time. The dollar's lost like 99% of its value over the last 100 years. So something that was like a safe haven asset, and Bitcoin's volatile, but obviously over the last 10 years, it's up like 5 jillion%. So relative to everything else, it seems like pretty awesome.
I have a fundamental confusion. Like how is it that it just doesn't seem like a functional currency to me because, first of all, the price fluctuates so much on a day-to-day basis that using it as any form of currency doesn't make sense because one day it could be worth double and the next day it could be worth half. It's like, how can that be a stable currency? And then the other thing is like, it seems like, well, spending it is difficult too, isn't it? Unless you're buying like, NFTs, which is now, maybe that's part of why NFTs are so popular is because people feel like, oh, I can spend my coins on something, So how can it possibly ever be a viable currency with how much it fluctuates in its value?
Yeah, so the value is like fluctuating less over time as more people come into the space and there's just more money inside of the Bitcoin system. Previously 10 years ago, it was moving 100% up and down a day. Now maybe it moves like 5-10% a day. So you compare that to something like the currency of like Venezuela or Argentina, where it's like just falling in half every day, and you got to like go buy your loaf of bread like before your currency falls in half again. It's definitely an upgrade for that. So I think it is harder to see from being in the United States where inflation historically has been like fairly low, but there are parts of the world where their national currency has just completely failed, and they may have no way to get into other currencies. Like it might be that actually like buying or using dollars in their local economy is like outlawed. So Bitcoin is like absolutely like a savior to them. But for us long term,
do you see someone being able to buy a loaf of bread with like cryptocurrency?
For sure, yeah, and they absolutely are in Venezuela.
They are
right now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
how does a bread vendor take crypto?
So anyone can set up a crypto wallet on their phone.
Yeah.
There's a load of crypto apps in the Android Play Store and in the iOS store. You can just search for like Bitcoin wallet or Ethereum wallet. You'll find like a million apps. Anyone can just set up an app, and you don't have to sign up or anything. Like once you just install the app, the wallet is on your phone, and anyone can just send you coins directly. So,
but like these vendors in Venezuela know how to accept crypto. You know what I mean? It's just, I guess maybe in due time.
Yeah, they actually do. I mean, yeah, it seems like it's a high tech thing, but I mean, it's actually really simple to set up. I mean, it's literally as simple as like downloading an app, and then you can take it, and then there are local brokers there who will trade. If you need the local currency or you need something else, they'll take your Bitcoin and give you dollars or give you, whatever the local currency is.
Wow, I had no idea. So crypto is more popular there, it sounds like, than it is here in America.
Hard to know. Like there's a lot of discretionary income floating around in America. People like to speculate on stocks and all sorts of things. So I would say like the speculation use case is much higher in the U.S. and the actual like use out of necessity because it's better than the alternative is higher in other places.
One of the biggest criticisms we get we hear of crypto, and even like doing our little NFT sales, there's a lot of people angry or disappointed or, just in general unhappy with the wastefulness of the crypto market. So
yeah.
So what do you?
Yeah, like the environmental impact.
Yeah.
I think this is just, honestly, I think this is like FUDing coming from the big banks who are afraid about what this means for their business and their control on the economy. And when you look at Bitcoin, yes, Bitcoin and Ethereum do expend a lot of energy, but so do many other valuable things, right? Like it costs something because it's valuable, just like, even building batteries for electric cars, has an environmental impact. It's not like everything is free of
so when you see these graphs, like we were looking at the other day, it goes, Bitcoin produces the same amount of energy as, let's say, almost as the whole country of
Argentina
Germany or
was
something.
It was Argentina was the one.
You
that
think
it was
that's an unfair
to.
comparison? What do you think? Like, if you compared it to other industries, let's say like batteries for electric cars or something, do you think how would that compare? You think it would be more or less, or do we know that information?
I think so. I looked this up a couple of days ago. It's still like less than half of what is spent on data centers around the world.
But that I think seems more essential, to be totally fair.
Well, is it? I think a more fair comparison would be what does it cost to maintain the US dollar as the world's reserve currency? And, Bitcoin is both a payment system and a settlement system. And when you think about all of the people and the computers and the printing presses and the paper and the trees that go into making the money, and it like costs more than a penny to make a penny.
Yeah.
Imagine like all of the resources that are going into maintaining the system. In terms of settlement, you have like the legal system that's backing up the chargebacks or, disputes about payments.
Yeah.
And you have the military that's backing up the use of the dollar globally. And we saw that when countries historically have attempted to go off of the dollar standard and move to a gold standard, or start using gold to trade for oil instead of using dollars to trade for oil, there's U.S. military intervention there to enforce the use of dollars. And they usually make something up, some other reason why they're sending in the military, but it's almost always about they want to stop using the dollar and they want to get on some other standard. And so I think when you bake all that into what is the cost of the dollar, Bitcoin is so small. It's such a fraction of that. And when you think about like what is the cost of a nation's currency failing, like Argentina or Venezuela, it completely destroys the whole country. And I think having a stable currency that is not manipulated by a government is insanely valuable, and it might be the most valuable innovation since the internet itself.
Do you think it's a problem that, let me ask you this is confusing. I've got all these Ethereum in my wallet. So I can go, let's say, and sell 10,000. Where's the $10,000 coming from?
Yeah, so there's someone on the other side of that trade. Either a business is buying it from you directly or another trader. So like if you were to sell it on Kraken, for example, we match buyers and sellers. So it's basically like eBay, where you have someone posting their Ether for sale, and then there's someone else on the other side who decides to buy it at whatever price.
So what happens if, I guess that's how, I'm just ignorant on how something basic like that works, but I guess if I'm trying to sell it, the market value is dictated by the demand for people wanting to buy the coin. So I guess that's what, right?
Yeah, it's supply and demand. It's just like the stock market.
Yeah,
supply and demand.
Real quick, there's quite a few updates on this on this token. It's now up to 4.9.
We're up to almost
bids from a lot of parties coming. I mean, Jesse here bidded 4.2 a while ago, but now we have a Luca DVT.
Oh, there's a new. Hey, Carlos.
and Ashley is still in there, and then somebody named Matt Kastner also just cast a bid. So
this is
so excited.
So I
this
guess
is exciting.
It pushed it back, like you said.
Oh yeah,
now
resets at 20.
It's 16 minutes.
Oh, I thought it went to 10, but it looks like it's 20 whenever there's a new bid.
Or maybe it adds 10 minutes or something. I'm not
Maybe,
sure exactly how
maybe
that
you're
works.
right. So, do you think that people in the crypto space have an obligation to invest some of their resources to environmental issues, or do you think the whole comparison is just unfair to begin with?
Yeah, I think it's an unfair comparison to begin with. I mean, we don't ask people to do that when they use dollars or euros or pennies or whatever. So, I think people that are already using crypto, I think are contributing to, this global phenomenon and this major social movement, which is to take back money from the government. And I think just like we have the separation of church and state, we should have the separation of money and state, because money has historically just been used and abused by governments to, unfairly tax people or propagate unnecessary wars. And the financial system itself prevents, the regulations around that prevent many people from even having access to basic payment methods and basic ways to store value. So I think using Bitcoin is making a social statement, and the more people that use it, I think the better off the world will be. The closer we'll get to being away from government-controlled currencies, which historically have all just ended in disasters. I mean, you look at Argentina, Venezuela, Zimbabwe. Even the German Deutschmark. There are so many examples. Historically, national currencies only last a few decades before they end up blowing up, because governments end up getting too greedy and inflating their way out of problems. People lose confidence in the money. It destroys their economy. And then many countries have fallen back to use the dollar. But I think now a lot of countries are losing confidence even in the dollar because the U.S. government seems to be willing to print unlimited amounts of money. So, I think using Bitcoin, yes, it has a cost, but so do lots of nice things. So does running the internet. So do many things that have super positive impacts on society. And Bitcoin is a peaceful way to protest against the existing system, which is backed by militaries and guns and wars and things like that, which are totally antisocial.
So you got into this space a long time ago, like 10 years ago. Did you make that fairy tale investment where you bought like a shit ton of Bitcoins and Ethereum at a super low valuation, and now you're sitting real nice?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Nice,
yeah, one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life was when Bitcoin was $1. Instead of buying 100,000 Bitcoin, which would be worth like $5 billion today,
right?
I bought $100,000 worth of Bitcoin mining equipment.
Oh no! Well,
well, I did the math, and I was like, okay, I'll make more Bitcoin if I do the mining. But like everyone had the same idea at the same time, and I don't know if you're familiar with how it works, but it's sort of like a raffle, where it's like the more people that are mining at the same time, like the smaller your chances of like getting Bitcoin, like the lower your return is going to be. So I guess I had the same idea at the same time. And you guys were just talking the other day about the trouble getting like GPUs, the new graphics cards to play video games and stuff. Well, this was like happening back in 2011 as well. Like all these, the Radeon 6990 was like the hottest thing that you could mine Bitcoin with. And these were like insanely like back ordered and delayed. And so all the math that I had done was just like out the window because the order was like delayed by like 2 months to get to me. And then by the time like I got everything, it was like Bitcoin was like $30 or something.
So how many? So how many Bitcoin did you end up mining? Do you think versus the 100,000 that you could have got? Like what was your?
Yeah, I mined
what
like.
did you miss out on?
Almost like 2,000 coins or something before.
Which is a lot, but it's not 100,000.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't hold all those coins all the way to the top. I had some other coins that I bought too, but I think people think about like, oh, I could have bought it at $1 and it'd be $50,000 now, but you have to have like absolute hands of steel to hold through that. Like
diamond hands, baby.
In the stock market would be like 20%. Like you're not going to hold from $1 to like even $100. You're like, oh my God, I'm up 100% or whatever, 10,000%.
For sure. I remember it was like a few years ago where everyone thought Bitcoin like topped out at like 7,000. Everyone's like, oh, it's over. Yeah. I had friends who were like super invested and they're like, I'm out, I'm selling, the bubble's over. So yeah, you need diamond hands for sure to hold.
Yeah. But it's still early. It's still early.
Think so?
You still think so?
You really think it's still early?
I think so. I think Bitcoin is going to be $500,000.
Oh, stop it.
Within the next few years.
Huh.
Yeah, well, look at how much money printing is going on. Yeah,
So
easily.
Okay,
easily, we're going to get to $1 million in Bitcoin.
If we don't have any, you would recommend to get some?
Absolutely. Like at least dabble in it. You guys are collecting some Ether, I guess, but you should have some Bitcoin too. Like put, 1 to 10% of your portfolio. I wouldn't say like go all in. Like don't bet your rent money. Don't bet your food money on Bitcoin. But, if you have a portfolio of investments, you should absolutely have some Bitcoin in there.
Here's another problem I have with the crypto space, or a confusion rather than a problem. There's so many types and there's more and more every day. It's like, it just makes the whole thing feel a little bit silly when there's like thousands of different cryptos and new ones coming out. And then everyone's like, oh, this new crypto is going to be it. And this new crypto is going to be it. It's like, it's just too much. There's too much stuff. What, you're inventing currency just like that? I mean, it just seems odd.
Yeah, there's a very low barrier to entry. Like anyone can create any new token anytime they want. I mean, obviously, you guys have made some tokens, and the NFT space is, blowing up. But I think you should think about it more like the stock market. And there are thousands of stocks that you could buy. There are a lot of like shitty stocks that you could buy. Some are like really strong, like brand names, household names. Like you have like the Apple, Google, Facebook, all of these guys. And, I think if just like with the stock market, if you don't really know what you're doing, if you're not like some super deep like Wall Street analyst, like don't buy crazy stock number like 5,900, like stick to the top guys that you have some personal connection to the brand, like, you're using Apple devices every day, so you probably think like Apple's a pretty good company. I would say like do that with crypto as well. Like don't pay attention to like all the new things coming out constantly. Like, look at maybe like the top 5, or just stick to like Bitcoin and Ether. If you want to be super safe, I think Bitcoin and Ether are super safe bets. Everything else, it gets more exotic and you get higher returns with more risk. But, I wouldn't look at other things, like new things that are coming out like every day, as like where you're going to put your life savings. Maybe you put like, something small in there just to like take a flyer on it, like buying a lottery ticket, but, I would say like in terms of like savings and long-term growth, like just stick to the things do.
So Bitcoin is still a buy. You heard it from the crack. The crack
Absolutely.
himself.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was I thought it was the bubble was over a few years ago when it was at like 7,000. I was like, look at these people losing all their money. It's up like $60,000 now. So I don't know shit, apparently. You got diamond hands? What's the longest you've held Bitcoin for?
Years, like 10 years. And some Bitcoin.
You've held for 10 years.
Yeah. Well, I've sold some over time.
Yeah.
But I have some Bitcoin from.
How many coins you got?
Oh, I can't say.
Okay.
I
tried.
I heard you guys got swatted the other day, by the way. That would be like bad OPSEC to say what I have, and then I have people showing up at my house.
I understand. Yeah. I just wanted to ask. Right. I thought I'd give it a shot. Well, that was, I love learning about this stuff because I am frankly quite ignorant on all this.
Yeah,
so it's really interesting.
I feel so far from understanding it, but this was really good. Thank you for all the information.
You got me wanting to sell all my everything and just go Bitcoin.
You should be selling, your kidneys and
fuck it, whatever I've got, whatever asset.
I think I don't know if you guys. I think I saw that you guys have like a Rolls Royce. I don't know if you bought that for cash, but I think you should. You should, okay, because I bought some stuff. The Bitcoiners do this all the time, where they'll buy something and then they'll look back like, oh, I bought a Tesla a few years ago for cash, and the Tesla now, it's like a $3 million car.
Bitcoin.
If I had just held on, if I just bought Bitcoin instead, or like,
It reminds me of.
That's crazy.
Reminds me of the end of Schindler's List. This ring could have saved 3 lives. That's how you feel every day.
Exactly.
You didn't sell everything.
It's only regret in selling Bitcoin, so I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I was gonna dump all my Ethereum. Do you think I should hold? Let's see what
I was telling him that we should hold it.
I would hold. I mean, if you don't have something else to do with the cash, don't sell unless you have like a better investment to make, because your dollars sitting in your bank account are just getting inflated away to nothing. So, if you're going to sell Ether, buy Bitcoin with it. Don't just like sit on cash.
Oh, you think Bitcoin is the better investment right now?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I think they're both super promising. I think the ecosystem around Ethereum is growing faster. There's also just some technical reasons why Ethereum might be increasing in value over time. Maybe more rapidly. One, I think, is that so there's this process right now of migrating from the Ethereum 1 blockchain to the Ethereum 2 blockchain. And to do that, you basically need to burn your coins on Ethereum 1, and then you get coins on this other Ethereum 2 chain. But this migration period is going to last potentially a few years. And so, but in the process of doing this, anyway, you get some amount of interest or something while the migration is happening. But a lot of people are burning their Ether 1 to get over to Ether 2, which is still years away. But after you burn it, you can't like undo this. So the available supply of Ethereum is shrinking right now. And so I think that's taking some sell pressure off of the market. So I think the price is maybe more likely to come up. And then this eventual upgrade of Ethereum is going to move it to a proof of stake system, which means like it's not going to rely on like mining the way that Bitcoin does. It'll basically be like a voting type of system where the amount of Ether that you hold will represent like your number of votes for the system. So sort of like a share-based voting thing like you have in like
what do you vote on?
Company. You vote on like protocol changes, and you also will vote on like in the way that Bitcoin does the mining. Basically, the miners are sort of authenticating the transactions. So that's called like a proof of work system, where you're like crunching numbers to process transactions. The proof of stake system, where it's like you're voting with your share of ownership, you will be voting on like the validity of transactions, basically. Like, is a transaction authentic? Is it legit? Or someone trying to spend the same coins twice? Things like that. I mean, it's basically the same stuff that you're doing with Bitcoin mining, but
it's an automated. It's an automated program. I get that.
It'll be automated. Yeah, I mean, conceivably, you could make it not automated.
All that. But what can I do? I have a soft brain.
Well, one thing,
You
Jesse,
don't need to understand it. Fortunately, I mean, like we don't understand how like the credit card networks work behind the scenes, or how the internet works behind the scenes. It's like,
Right.
Yeah.
Jesse, I've heard that, because I was reading up about all this stuff, that the proof of stake thing supposedly solves a lot of the environmental issues, right? Doesn't it? It uses way less power to do it that way?
for sure. Yeah, that's definitely one of the arguments for the proof of stake, is that you don't have to have these computers churning away all the time.
Well, how is new coins generated once you remove that?
So there could be, depends on the protocol, but there could still be a schedule of just releasing new coins into the system.
Who gets it?
The people who are participating in the voting of the proof of stake system. So if you have a computer,
can participate in that, or only the big
no,
stockholders?
anyone with Ether. So it's like a direct proportional share kind of thing. So whether you have one share or a million shares.
Okay, that sounds cool. I mean, then it's like a stock dividend type of thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. We like.
Yeah, and you only get paid the dividend if you're participating in the votes.
We like that. I've got 15 Ethereum. Let's fucking go. Where's my dividend?
Coming up. Well, if you stake it now and you burn it, you can start getting some dividends on your.
This
Ether.
is some high level shit. You're talking about burning my digital coins, getting dividends on Ethereum too. I'm in the fucking future. Jesus.
One other thing that people like about the proof of stake is that there's some kind of far out like future threat that governments eventually like get so upset with Bitcoin that they go and try to confiscate all of the mining equipment out there. And you couldn't do that with a proof of stake system.
Interesting.
Since there aren't like physical miners, to take.
No,
it's just like a software.
They'll have to pry my GTX from my cold dead hands.
If you're mining Bitcoin with GPUs at this point, you're probably wasting money.
Oh, really? What do you mine?
Yeah, you can't. It's not going to be productive. There are specialized chips now for mining Bitcoin.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Called ASICs.
So where's all the fucking graphics cards? Why can't I get? I've been waiting like 3 months for my goddamn podcast computer. We just want to. It's ridiculous.
There are other tokens that you can mine with the GPUs now.
I see.
So yeah, people are getting these to like mine all the hot new crazy coins that are coming out.
Well, Jesse, it's been a really educational, really interesting conversation. I appreciate it.
You guys.
There's 1 minute. Oh no, there's 11 minutes left. AB.
Yeah, there was just a bid that popped it up to 7.5. It just jumped quite a bit.
Oh, I don't see that on my computer yet.
You might want to refresh, because it's.
Carlos is impressed.
Did you manually?
Oh wow! Oh shit! I wasn't updated.
So with every bid, it adds time?
It adds 10 or 20 minutes.
It adds 10 minutes, I believe.
Wow, look it up.
I am so excited.
Did you follow
I
the
am so
BitConnect
happy.
stuff? What did you think about the BitConnect stuff? Did you know that was a scam from the beginning?
For sure. Like there's so many of these Ponzi's in Bitcoin. Like I think people are kind of like aware of them now, but I mean, you still see it happening occasionally. But yeah, it was like a straight up Ponzi from the beginning. I mean, anything promising like, 50% rewards a week or something, or returns a week is just like obviously a scam. And it blows my mind that people still fall for this stuff. But, I mean, people are still falling for the Nigerian prince emails as well, right?
Poor
So there's
grandmas.
always, like some demographic that just like buys into it.
Yeah.
Carlos,
yeah,
Carlos, what was your thoughts on BitConnect? I know Carlos, did you learn your lesson, or what's your stance on crypto, Carlos?
I love.
He still loves it. Really loves it. Wow.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, Carlos disagrees with you, Jesse. But
That's okay. Has anyone seen that guy? Is he in hiding?
No.
he's in hiding.
I think he's in
yeah,
hiding.
he's in hiding.
Yeah, big time.
All right, Jesse. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for taking
right,
the time to
thanks,
call
guys.
in.
Thank
We
you so much.
appreciate you. That was great.
Yeah.
God bless.
Absolutely. Anytime.
And unleash the Kraken, right? That's what they say. Oh, don't. Do we want the Kraken unleashed or no? Jesse.
You want to unleash it for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a protector. It'll help you buy Bitcoin.
Okay, let's get that Kraken out there. Thank you, Jesse.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks. Take care.
Did we learn something? I think so.
I think so.
Oh wow, the bid. So guys, the bid is up to 8.3.
I mean, I learned a lot about Bitcoin.
It's exciting.
That I didn't
Whoa,
know.
it's going crazy.
I think he makes a valid point about the environmental impact.
That too. It does make sense to me. Because, like you said, there's a cost to everything precious.
That's not analyzed in the same way. Like when you see these charts, it's like, well, Bitcoin produces the same amount of energy as the
Yeah.
country of Argentina. It's like, well, let's get every industry on there and see, because it's kind of misleading just to see it out of.
But also
context.
learning about the benefits in countries where the currency is not stable was really interesting.
So he's saying where the currency is so unstable, you put your money into the crypto, it holds the value instead of losing it. Where otherwise you wouldn't have access to other currency. Is that what he means?
Yeah, because when these countries are experiencing hyperinflation, which he did make the point that in a lot of those examples of countries that are experiencing hyperinflation, that's happening because of the United States sanctioning them or doing other types of economic warfare in order to get them to fall in line. And so, yeah, I mean, money in the global financial system, it's used as a tool to control people in a variety of ways. What I do, I mean, he knows a lot more about this stuff than me, but he brings up the fact that all of these countries, when they try and move away from the dollar, the United States cracks down on them and militarily intervenes and stuff. And that, I think that is an important point. I do have a fear that there is a big crackdown on all of this crypto stuff coming.
You mean from governmental bodies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that too because, well, they started taxing it recently, and there's like all these rules and regulations now. Where before, I think for a long time it was like Wild West, just like
right.
Thank you.
And I think the reality is that the banks and the big financial institutions are very threatened by this, and they're not going to go silently. They're going to go down fighting. You know what I mean? And
sure.
So,
Yeah. Those are like the most powerful forces, and
that's what I'm saying. And so, I have no idea what's going to happen, but to think that it's just going to coast its way into replacing the dollar in the world is, there's
not
it's
right.
going to be more complicated than that.
Well, that
and I don't think he was even necessarily saying that. That's just adding to his point, but yeah, I'm curious to see, how it's all going to play out over the next couple decades.
The blockchain too sounds like it'd make a lot more sense. So that's cool. What surprised me is according to him, he says there's people in Argentina who are selling fucking loaves of bread who you can pay with crypto.
I get it. I mean, everyone's got a phone.
No, I get
as
it too.
easy
I
as
just
getting
didn't
an
know it
app
was
and-
so.
Yeah.
We're already there.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Yeah. That was really interesting.
Huh.
The world